We can practice formally, do a formal practice of heart jewel, sitting down. And then we continue our practice. In fact, Geshe says faith is one of our main daily practices. So we take the faith that we've generated in Guru Tsongkhapa and Dorji Shugden, and we hold it with mindfulness throughout our busy day. As we go to work, looking after our families, etc., we make our faith in Wisdom Buddha, Je Tsongkhapa and Dorji Shugden our main practice. Holding that faith, training in that faith, applying effort to keep that faith, no matter what our body is doing. Then extraordinary things will happen, because our physical and verbal activities will become empowered by Wisdom Buddha at our heart, and they will lead to good results. So what I'm really talking about is staying connected. Staying connected. So I once stayed in a hotel, and on the desk in my room there was an offer for paying for some internet connection. And on the card it said, and I've never forgotten it because it was so helpful, it said, "Be protected, stay connected." And I don't even know, to be honest, what it was about, except that you could pay for an internet connection, which I didn't. But that little phrase has stayed in my heart ever since, because our practices are so deep and extraordinary. They're deep and vast, they're so beautiful. The instructions of the Ganden oral lineage pouring from our Guru's heart. And sometimes, even by the end of these 4 teachings, there'll be a lot of information shared. But it all comes down, really, to that faithful mind that's staying connected. So I don't know, when you got here, did you check? Did you have a connection? I mean, that's one of the first things we do when we go anywhere. It's like, no connection, there's no connection. And like as though we can't, it's such a good analogy, as though we can't function unless there's a connection. So I think every time we think, is there a connection? I need a connection. There's no connection. If I stand, actually, at Kadampa Meditation Center, New York, the temple, I hope all of you get the opportunity to make a pilgrimage to all our 4 traditional Kadampa temples that there are in the world. There are places of our destination, holy pilgrimage. At KMC, New York, there's a rock outside the temple. And if you're in the know, you know that if you stand on that rock, you can get a signal. And one of the funniest things I have ever seen was a queue for the rock. So it's probably the same here. There's like rumors going round where you can go. It's like, almost like, I don't want to say a whispered lineage, but it's like, I've got a connection, would you like to come to my room? You can get connected. So the difference between an ordinary life and A spiritual life is what we're trying to be connected to. So we're trying to stay connected to the holy. So I'm not saying don't be connected from the point of view of communicating with your families and your work. Of course, if that's what we need to do, we need to do that. But I'd like to encourage us all to think about our connection, because Venerable Geshe is encouraging us, be connected, stay connected. So we can be connected to Wisdom Buddha and Wisdom Buddha's blessings all the time. It's a question of practice. So practice means becoming familiar through repetition. You repeat various virtuous minds till they become spontaneous. So when we're practicing, we are practicing. We're practicing a mind we're not so familiar with. For example, deep faith in Wisdom Buddha, Geshe Kappa, Dorji Shugden. So everywhere we go, everything we do, we train as our practice to remain connected